In this second portion, we're going to look at now the library mode. Since you have brought images in using import, you now are in the library mode. Over here on the left-hand side, you have a navigator, which is a little preview. You can also use it to zoom in and press and drag that element around. I'm going to go back to fit. You can close that window if it doesn't work for you. Next, we have our catalog. You have all of the images that are in your catalog. You have whatever your last import was, which is the one that we're just doing, that would be your previous import. And that's a nice thing if you don't get around to finishing up your editing. And below that, the important one we have are our collections, and I'll talk more about that. In the center, we have our images. Over here on the right-hand side, you have a histogram, which shows you the individual makeup of the image. Notice how it changes as I click on different images. Shadows being over here on the left side, highlights on the right. If there are quick changes that you wanted to make, you can use the Quick Develop. Primarily, I use this area for keywording, and keywording are ways that you can sort and find images. Many people are thinking of them almost as hashtags, but they're not. They are generic kinds of things. So for example, this image here, I wouldn't want to say, pink flower at San Rafael. If it's a pink flower and for some reason I'm sorting by colors, then maybe I'm going to have pink. I might have flower. I might have nature. If there's a reason that I want to know where the location was, I might put that in. To add in a keyword, just simply click into that box, a comma between each, and then I could go in and enter it. So each keyword is divided by a comma. You can have spaces, but then that would be word with a space and the other word, and then a comma. And so that first set then becomes a new keyword. Your last keywords used are right below this, and as we scroll down, here's the keyword list so that you can actually click on this. It'll bring you up all the images that have that keyword. And then below that, we have the metadata, where you have the information about the file, its name. There's my copyright information that was put in when I brought it in. You can add a title, a caption, the rating, the dimensions are going to be here. If you had GPS tagging, that would be here as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is go through and rate them. And the process I use is I double click on it to enlarge it. The first round I go through, I give it a 1 if I like it. If I don't like it, I don't give it anything. Now what this process does is it allows you to kind of go through and get familiar with what your images are. Then you go through them again, and quite often you will have shot multiples of a specific scene. And this is the time where you get to realize, oh, you know what, it was actually the second version of that was the better shot. Once you've gone through and done a first rating, right down here at the bottom we have a little area, and it's going to say filters off. You'll click on that, go into rated, and it already figured out that since I've done that first rating, all I have is 1 star, it's going to automatically only show me images that have at least 1 star. I'm going to go back up to the beginning, and then images that I especially like, I'm going to now give 2 stars. I actually continue this process up to 3 stars. I use 4 stars for images that I really think I'm going to use and I do some editing on. And 5 stars for me then are finished images that are fully edited. And so now I can scroll at, so now I did 2 stars, I then add a star to this, and it filters out all the ones that just have 2 stars or more. I can go back, look at them in the grid mode, and just a quick word on how to select items. So to select items that are next to each other, I'm going to select the first, hold down the Shift key, and now select the last. That selects all of those together. Now Command D deselects. If I want to select images that are not next to each other, then I'm going to use the Command key. Once you've figured out your images, you may then want to start working on them or think of them as a project. And to do that, you want to make them a collection. Because while these have keywords of nature, maybe not all of my nature images are things I specifically want to use for one project. I go over here to Collections, create a collection, give it a specific name. Now I'm just going to give it one related to this so I know which one to get rid of. And then I can go ahead and hit create. Notice that it says include the selected photos, and when I do that, it immediately goes to just those. I can then go back to my previous import. It brings up those original images. I'm going to filter for rated, gets me back to where I was. And let's say I want to add an image to a collection. To add an image, one little trick that you need to do is when you select the image, draw or drag from the center, not the outside. So I'm dragging, and there's my test, let go, and now this image is included in that collection. The benefit of collections is it allows you to change the order that images are in, and at this point that's what you have to do to be able to change that order. And I'm going to go back to my previous import. So that's the basics of how to organize, rate, and keyword your images in Lightroom.